As 2025 comes to a close and we're moving into 2026, I have had some massive learning lessons this year. I don't know if you're anything like me, but this year has been full of growth, full of lessons, and full of hard times as well. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the biggest learning lessons I've had, how they have changed the way that I think about life, about sales, about influence, about the world, and what that might mean for you and the ways that I'm actually implementing those things going into 2026. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Now, if you don't know me, hi, my name is Christian Jack. I've generated over 100 million in sales. I've trained thousands of sales reps across dozens of industries. And at this point, now I really just am running this channel in order to share some of the things that I have learned along my path and the things that I'm continuing to learn, such as in this video today. So if you're new to this channel, welcome, glad to have you. And if you are a returning viewer to this channel, thank you so much for returning. I've got another banger for you here today. Let's dive in. All right, so the first thing that I learned this year, even above all else, through now really diving into sales coaching. Before this year, I'd managed sales teams, I had sold myself plenty of times, but this year I've really dialed in how to coach sales reps in order to hit massive numbers. So like Justin went from 30K to 80K in a month, right? Oscar, Brody both went from like 15K to 30K in a month. Ethan went from, 2 to like 17K. Joe went from 5K to 30K, like over and over and over. Just these students are just getting massive wins this year. And I don't say that to brag, but I say it because there's been one key overarching theme for all of these people that has been the foundation of their new level of performance, and that is their state management, right? This is the single most recurring theme across all of my lessons that I've learned this year, is that your state drives your behavior and not your ability. So the difference between performing brilliantly or terribly comes down to your physical and mental state in any given moment. So the idea is that emotion is created by motion. Your physiology directly dictates your psychology. That's a concept from Tony Robbins, which obviously your psychology is what affects your performance, right? So the key things to remember with this is change your physical body immediately, your breathing, your posture, your facial expressions, even just the words that you're saying to change your state. Instead of jogging, go skipping, right? Laugh for no reason. You will seem kind of crazy, like Joker-esque if you do that with other people around, but who the fuck cares? Smile in the mirror at yourself, right? When you feel powerless, use your body as a tool to feel powerful, right? Build neurological pathways to pleasure through physical acts. The second learning lesson I've had is that focus determines reality. This is the idea of target fixation. If you've never heard of this, it is a concept from motorsports, actually, this idea of target fixation. And in motorsports, drivers or, motorcycle riders, etc., are taught that when something bad happens in front of you in the race, or there's an obstacle in the road or something like that, do not look at it. Do not focus on avoiding it. Just focus on where you want to go, because where your focus goes expands and it becomes your reality, right? Just like these race car drivers who are staring at the crash in front of them instead of staring at the path that goes through, they end up just crashing into the crash that's already there. And so sales reps will do the same thing, right? We as humans get the outcomes that we fixate on. There's a saying that Andrew Carnegie said, whatever is held in the mind consistently, whether feared or revered, will automatically and immediately take the first physical form that is most convenient. And so even if you fear it and even if you revere it, it doesn't matter whether it's positive or negative, whatever you think about consistently, whatever you hold in your mind consistently will come to light in your life. And so if you are focused on how you're going to, pay the bills, if you're focused on the problems that you're experiencing in your sales calls, if you're focused on, why aren't prospects opening up to me? If you're focused on how do I deal with that A-type personality, you will naturally just get more of that, because that is the principle of life. It is a truth of neurology, of physiology, not neurology, that's like different, neuroscience, physiology, psychology. It's just a truth of the world. And so you go where you look. So instead of focusing on the problem, start focusing on the solutions, All right, some key points with this, just to make sure that we're going down the right path, is your focus is not your reality, but it is your perception of it, like the camera lens that shows only one part of the picture. If you focus on what you cannot control, you will lose focus on what you can. Target fixation is the idea of just focusing on, if you focus on the negative, you will collide with failure. So instead, focus on the positive and you will collide with success. One other thing that I'll note with this is there will always be lag time between redirecting your focus and when results catch up. So don't wait to redirect your focus. Learn the skill of redirecting your focus immediately. And the shorter the time span between when the event happens and when you can be aware that it's happening and immediately redirect your focus, the shorter that time span is, the shorter the time span between redirecting your focus and actually getting to it, which is huge. The next principle, number 3, is that pain tolerance is equal to your goal size. So your willingness to endure discomfort is directly proportional to the significance of your goals. All right, this came up repeatedly throughout this year, right? There's a saying that's give a man a purpose and the ability to achieve it, and a man will crawl over broken glass with a smile. All right, if your goals aren't big enough, your pain tolerance will not grow. Meaningful work, meaningful pursuits in your life, meaningful goals make pain a positive reinforcement. So imagine that you're, a young adult guy and you're wanting to build muscle. You go to the fucking gym. That's great. If your goal is big enough, the pain that you feel in the gym of literally breaking down your muscle fibers, of increasing your heart rate, all these things will be worth it, and you will continue to go to the gym. But if instead your goal is just like, oh, I want to lose a pound, like, you're not going to go very consistently. And same thing with your diet as well. And so when you're in sales, if you don't have a meaningful goal, then how in the world can you expect to have a high level of pain tolerance and work 7 days a week? Take 10 calls a day, right? Be able to show up when you need to, even if you're tired, even if you're exhausted, right? You can have character or you can have an easy life, but you can't have both. You can have results or you can have an easy life, but you can't have both. That comfortable road will never lead you to where you are destined to be. Growth will disguise itself oftentimes even on that road as failure. And so progress disguises itself as pain. But if you can learn to see it for what it is, not the disguise of failure, not the disguise of pain, but it is the requisite in order to get to where you want to go, then that's how you win. If you want to have courage, then you have to have your courage tested. If you want to be strong, then you have to have your strength tested. If you want to be patient, you have to have your patience tested. So therefore, if you want to have your goal, then your resolve to get to the goal must be tested. Number 4 is the paradox of growth. Real transformation in your life will continue to require you to be worse before you get better. All right? Learning something new makes you feel dumb before it makes you feel smart. Working out makes you feel weak before it makes you feel strong. Stop avoiding the hard thing. It probably matters. I would even venture to say that if it is hard, you should probably do it, not only just for the sake that it will get you to your goal, but also that doing hard things builds parts of your brain. It builds parts of you that can then continue to do hard things, right? Becoming somebody new, leveling up to a new version of yourself, breaking through to the future that you are meant to have and becoming the version of you that you're meant to be is messy, right? It breaks who you were. You literally have to kill the old version of you in order to make room for the you that you're meant to be. There's a saying, I think it is David Goggins actually, sometimes when you're in a dark place, you think that you've been buried when you've really been planted. You don't build strength by feeling powerful, you build it by showing up when you feel powerless. So stop avoiding the feeling of powerlessness. Stop avoiding the feeling of discomfort. Stop avoiding the feeling of feeling dumb or like you don't know anything. In fact, I would chase those things because that will build the version of you that you want to be. Before you are strong, you will feel weak. Before you are smart, you will feel dumb. And that is okay. That is the way of things. Number 5, starting to get into some more sales tactics here. Framing is everything. How you frame an experience determines your emotional response to it. This is not just in sales calls with your prospects, but this is in your own life as well. The same physical sensations can be interpreted as good or bad based entirely on the context that you decide to give it. So, as an example, if you're out of breath, if you're panting, if you have tired muscles, and you're sweating, when you are driving a car and you feel those things, you better pull the fuck over, because it's not good. You're going to pass out. You're going to crash. In that context of the car, that is bad, because you have decided that it's a bad thing based on your experience, based on what other people have told you, etc. But if instead you feel those same things, being out of breath, panting, tired, sweating, if you feel those things at the gym, then you feel amazing, because that context is a completely different frame. The same sensations, different frame. And so the meaning that you assign to events in your life, the meaning that you assign to that sweating, as an example, determines your emotional state. If you assign the meaning that this is building a better version of me, this is burning the fat, this is growing the muscle, this is doing the hard thing on purpose so that I can do more hard things in my life, that is a good thing. But if instead you assign the meaning to it of, oh my goodness, I am unsafe, oh my goodness, what is wrong with me, then no shit, you're going to have a negative emotional state. And so you have to start to frame these things in your life, problems and pains, objections, as opportunities in order to move forward, right? Frame rejection on sales calls, as an example, as practice reps, not your own personal failure, as ways that you can grow. Because the thing is, if you got everything right in life, you would have no ways to grow. Success does not teach you anything. Failure teaches you what not to do, right? Thomas Edison said when he was interviewed about how many times it took him to make the light bulb, he didn't say, I failed 10,000 times before I made the light bulb. I learned 10,000 ways not to make a light bulb. If he had not failed, then he would never know how to make the light bulb. If you succeeded on the first try in everything in your life, you would have no fucking idea how to succeed, because it just happened automatically for you. That's not the way of life. And so you have to reframe this idea of I'm not ready, or I'm in the middle of something, or I'm failing, I'm not growing, this is a problem, I don't like this. You have to reframe those things as the building blocks of the person that you want to become. Because the person I trust is not the person who is able to land a kick the first time that they did it. I fear the man who knows not how to do 1,000 kicks, who has practiced 1,000 kicks one time. I fear the man who has practiced one kick 1,000 times. That's a quote from Bruce Lee. I'm not looking for a person who has read a book on how to climb Mount Everest. I'm looking for the person that wrote the book on how to climb Mount Everest, because that person has tried and tried and tried, and they've probably failed in a lot of different ways. And so when I hire them to take me to the top of Mount Everest, they know exactly what's going to happen, and they know what to do when things go wrong. The person that just read the book, get wrecked. Like, if anything goes wrong, they're fucked. So that is point number 5. Now, point number 6, authority is the ultimate advantage in sales, in influence. I dedicated an entire training session inside of my sales training program, the Sales Dojo, to this topic on building authority. This is huge. When you don't have authority, people generally don't buy, right? They just shop around. And so you have no control over that process. Authority is what will short circuit different objections in somebody's mind, whether it be price, whether it be competitors, whether it be, reviews, whatever it might be. And so you can build authority through content, through social proof, through demonstrations, through testimonials, through positioning yourself as the guide and not just like another person in the process. Your presence should communicate, I know something that is of value. I know something that you want to know. I have something that you want. I am someone who can guide you through this process. And there's so much that goes into building authority, but that lesson was just consistently relearnt for me this year. That lesson just came up over and over, just building my level of personal authority. And generally, the way that you build this is just by having your authority tested in your own life. with yourself, not your authority with other people, your authority with yourself, your reputation with yourself. Do you do what you say you're going to do? Do you push through when things get hard? Do you actually run through the brick wall instead of just looking at it and hoping that somebody else comes and breaks it down for you? That's huge. That's real authority. Number 7, storytelling is one of the best universal sales tools. Stories, if you didn't know this, bypass the critical factor in someone's brain and create an emotional connection in ways that just telling somebody facts cannot. All right, so I'm going to tell you here a few different story types. There's really 10 of them. All right, I'm not going to go too deeply into each one. First type of story is introductory stories. This is basically just for building a credibility, if you will. Number 2 is attention grabbing stories. This is just for engagement. This is to get somebody out of their head. Number 3 is product stories. This is really just about features and benefits of the product, but in context of somebody's story of like a past client, as an example, and how those things actually helped them. So now you're not just preaching features and benefits. You're telling a story as it relates to the person that you're speaking to and another successful client. Number 4 now would be fear stories. So this is about risk reversal. Number 5 is money stories, about affordability. It's about ROI. Ego enhancement stories. This is about increasing status and ways that this has helped other people increase their status. And, relatively by attribution, the prospect can think that it will do it for them as well. Productivity stories, right? These are about ways that the product, service, coaching program, etc., has helped them increase their productivity. Family or togetherness, connection, community. These stories are huge because humans, all at a basic level, if you study psychology and human behavior enough, even the people that want to stand out from the crowd want to be seen by the crowd and therefore fit into the crowd. So every single human being wants to fit in. They want to be approved of. They want to be accepted by the people around them, by their tribe, by the people that they care about being accepted by. Not necessarily just by everybody, but by the people that they actually care about. Number 9 is security stories. So these are about giving prospects peace of mind. And last but not least are closing stories, basically summaries of what has happened in the call, but using the call as an actual story, like a hero's journey, an arc. This is huge. If you don't know how to do this, join the Sales Dojo at the link in the bio. I will teach you all about it. All right, we're on learning lesson number 8 now. Number 8 is character development is done through adversity. Yes. A good life isn't an easy one. A good life is what makes you into a good person, right? If you want to live a good life, it is the life that builds you into a person that you are proud of. And that, my friend, is a hard life and not an easy one. Again, this is just going back to some of the things that I referenced earlier, but if you want courage, then you will get monsters to face. If you want patience, you will be forced to work harder and longer than anyone else. If you want wisdom, you will get trials that crush your spirits that you must learn wisdom from. Your character is measured by what you became and not by the fire that was needed to forge you. Number 9 is neuroassociative conditioning. This is a systematic approach developed by Tony Robbins to changing behavior patterns through association and repetition. And basically, it's 6 steps. Number 1 is decide what you really want. Number 2 is get leverage, aka link massive pain to not changing and pleasure to changing to the new thing. Number 3 is when the old pattern shows up, interrupt it. Maybe you are trying to quit the habit of smoking. You have to interrupt the pattern. You have to be aware of it and you have to stop it. When you pull the cigarette out of your back pocket and you go to light it, interrupt that pattern if you can immediately. And there's tools that we can do to do this. I will actually run various hypnosis sessions inside the Sales Dojo for the VIP members. When they ask for certain things, like on how to interrupt the pattern, because when you're stuck in a pattern, you don't know it. That's why it's a pattern. And so bringing awareness to whenever the pattern triggers or whenever it happens is really the first step. And you can do that through things like hypnosis. And so interrupting the pattern is number 3. Number 4 is creating an empowering alternative. So actually deeply wiring a new alternative to fill the space. Because if you've ever tried to quit a habit like smoking as an example, what happened when you didn't fill the space that was left by smoking? When you remove the habit of smoking, there's now an empty space. If you don't fill it, your brain and your body will naturally try to fill it with something else, whether it be going back to smoking or whether it be stronger substances, or whether it be by depression. There's so many different ways that your body can fill the space. And so if you what's the saying? If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. If you don't fill that space intentionally, then your body will do it for you. And more often than not, that's not a healthy way to do it. Your body will choose negative things. So you have to create an empowering alternative. And number 5 is condition the new pattern with repetition and with emotional intensity. You got to do it over and over and over. Same way as you train, it sounds kind of morbid, but like same way as you train a dog, you have to train yourself in order to do the right thing and not do the wrong thing. That's all that it is. It's just training and repetition. And then step number 6 of NAC is testing and repetition over and over and over. Test and iterate. So that's number 9. Number 10, the last one that I will say here, security is an illusion. Humans largely crave security and safety. It is deeply wired into us from the beginnings of time and passed down through generations in our genetics, in our DNA. You cannot remove that desire and that need for safety and security. However, just because you need it doesn't mean that you have to be focused on it. And this endless quest that sales reps have for security keeps them from achieving the greater levels that they know that they want to achieve. I can't tell you how many times I've seen this in myself and my students, in the world around us. Like, there are only 2 facts in which you can be 100% certain in this world, is that all of us were born and all of us will die. Everything in between, everything that happens in between those 2 dates is up for grabs. I know that might be a bit morbid to think about. It's really not. You get to control your life in that you get to control all suffering. All suffering in your life is 100% intentional. Whether you realize it or not, all suffering is 100% controlled by you. The stories that you tell yourself, the lies that you give into, the programming that you accept from the world around you. Nobody can program you without you accepting it, without you saying, yes, that's true, I will bring that into my life. And so if you want to win at life, you have to stop accepting the programming of the world around you, and you have to start listening to your heart. You have to start listening to your gut and do exactly what it tells you. Go for the big payoff. Don't be afraid of a little bit of riskiness in your life. Go for the big payoff. Don't be afraid of risk. Don't be afraid of what other people think of you. Stop worrying about other people's opinions, their thoughts, their own fears, their own programming that they're projecting onto you. Be yourself. Be present. Be fully focused at all times. Be completely focused on what you want, and don't give a shit about what you don't want. Be aware of yourself at a very high level, your tendencies, your good, your bad, everything that might get in the way, and consistently train yourself. Link that massive pleasure to what you want and massive pain to what you don't want, and consistently repeat that every single day. Live your life by these 10 learnings, and I promise you, you will be further ahead than I am. I promise you that you will grow faster than I have, because I have had to experience these things over and over and over in order to learn from them, but that is also the beauty of it. And so take my advice from this video, go and take these things into your life, run into 26 full force, run through that brick wall and go for what you want, because
you absolutely can achieve it. And don't you dare let anyone else ever tell you that you can't.